Trade Food
Mr.
Bank
Chairman
and
on that.
Masons.
Okay, welcome back, everybody on YouTube and those in the audience. We're at our 3 o'clock agenda item. This is all action items. These are property tax exemption applications. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Sue, and we will start at the top of your list and go from there.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. So the first set of applications, there's 4 parcels for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We have a parcel that has a church camp, another one with a church meeting house, their family history, a ball field for church recreation, a church meeting house on the next parcel, as well as family history research. And the 4th parcel is the missionary housing and parking lot. So the ownership is in order. The prosecutor's office has reviewed the applications, and we have found that everything is in order. Their IRS letter, the activities, they do not, no one uses their facility other than themselves. And it is recommended approval on all 4 of the parcel numbers listed.
Okay, everybody's good with that?
I'll make a motion that we approve the tax application for Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints,
For 4 parcels.
all 4 parcels.
I will second that.
You got a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Now we're gonna go, I'm assuming, to the Quaker Hills.
15, 16,
You wanna do these one at a time?
20. We're actually going to do them as a whole,
Okay,
but of course, I have to list out the parcel numbers for the record. Okay. So, let's see, their deeds are in order. Their IRS letter was in order. So what has transpired, after the prosecuting attorney's office has reviewed this, we're actually recommending denial under 602B because they,
oh, okay, yeah, this is
under 602B,
B.
and that is a religious
Right.
exemption. Hang on. So they were unable to find any religious purposes in the articles of incorporations or the bylaws. And there was no specific charitable purposes. Quaker Hill, it's set up as a separate corporation from any religious group and it doesn't seem to have its own congregation. And so that's why it's being recommended for denial. However, John Walker is here. So if you were to have questions for him, he most certainly can answer them, I'm sure.
Okay, John, do you have anything you wanna add to this or any questions you had?
Yeah.
Can you come to the mic, please?
Yeah. I actually think it might be more appropriate for them to apply under 602C.
See, that's what I'm thinking too, maybe the wrong code.
And we have time for that. So
Yeah.
if he wanted to apply under 602C, it'd still be for the April 15th deadline, and he could resubmit.
What's 602C do for them? Let's,
Not a
What's
religious,
that?
it's a charitable.
It's not a
Charitable
religious, yeah.
it would just be under charitable.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay,
Following you.
go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is John Walker, and I am the Executive Director at Quaker Hill, and I've been there for the last 20 years. Yeah, I guess when we were here last year, along with the other camps that were denied, in that, one of the, I guess, charges to the camps were to pay attention to the code and watch the code, and if things were to change, to pay attention to that so that we'd be able to address that. I guess I wasn't aware of any changes in the code, and so therefore we went ahead and applied for the property tax exemption, as we have for since this process began. The camp was founded in 1931, and really, I would say, hasn't changed at least in the last 40 years of its operation. So, yeah, so I guess, I guess what I would say in conversations that have just recently transpired is that if obviously a 602C is the avenue we should pursue, we're more than willing to do that. And we'll obviously do that if this is the outcome. But again, we haven't changed our operation. We haven't done anything differently. And so therefore, I guess if things are going to be looked at through a different lens or interpreted a different way, then the same would be asked, to give us the alert, which maybe that's what this is today. And so therefore, we would then just file under the 602C, if that's the wishes of the board, which are my direct supervisors. So I guess that's all I really, have to say, but I'm more than willing to answer any questions that you might have of us or me or the operation. So
John, even though you guys haven't changed your operation, the state is looking at it a little more closely at Valley County, of course, to make sure that we're complying with state code,
Sure.
state law. One of the questions, so last year we got your financials from you. This year we did not. You guys, did they send them in
under
late?
602B,
Which doesn't require
which
financials?
does not request the financials.
Okay.
So if they
Okay,
were
that's why
to,
then.
if they were to reapply under 602C, that worksheet, so you would have to do new worksheets for each parcel, but we already have like the IRS letter. the audit incorporation
Sure.
bylaws. You and I can go over that
sure.
later today if you're able. We
Mhm.
just have a few to hear after you.
Sure.
And then I can go downstairs and email you the 602C
Sure.
worksheet.
Yeah, be happy to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, there's nothing to hide in that. We are definitely in the nonprofit world, where you have seen monies in our accounts. It has been because we're on a major capital campaign to rebuild an outdated and dilapidated dining hall and kitchen that is needed to be.
John, I appreciate you coming in. I don't think it's anything to be worried about.
Yeah.
I think working with Sue, you could probably get under the right format and probably
Okay.
still keep right on going down the road, but we gotta make sure we got our Ts crossed and our Is dotted, and we still got some time to do that, so
Sure. Yeah,
it's good that you're in early.
totally
Do you
understand.
mind if I ask a question?
No, no.
Are you filing a Form 990 with the IRS?
No, we do not.
Okay. We were looking for one, thinking that you might
Yeah,
have filed a 990, but you don't.
we don't.
So is there a religious affiliation? with
Well,
Quaker?
it was, yeah, that's an interesting one. So it was founded originally by the evangelical Quakers of the Treasure Valley, because in 1918, they got tired of driving out to Oregon on the Oregon coast. It would literally take them a week to get there and a week to get back. So, so then they delineated or designated, found this original 10 acres that they started the camp on. And then, and I can't speak for longer than my experience with them, but growing up in the 80s, I was a kid attending Quaker Hill, and it was utilized by all different churches in the Treasure Valley because there just really weren't a handful. There were just a handful of camps that operated year round, like Quaker Hill has. So yeah, originally founded by by the Friends, the Quakers of the Treasure Valley, and then, they saw the vision for it to serve more than just their own people. So,
That's why they became their own corporate entity and
and
So Sue, I'm assuming then that we're going to deny this and send it back.
It has, the recommendation is
Oh.
denial under 602B.
And there's 27 parcels,
26.
26 parcels?
So can I ask a really dumb question, but before John goes through and fills all this out? So he files as a 602 C, but I'm looking at the other 602 C applications, and they have very specific things that they provide.
Well, obviously,
I
he'll
mean-
want to read it and make sure before he goes to all the purposes.
somebody took your cup?
Because it's still, I mean, he's not gonna be tax exempt for any time it was leased out to somebody else. Correct? Maybe?
There could be some apportionment in that property as well under a 602C.
Okay, all right. Just make sure you read it, make sure you guys qualify before you go through all that work. 'Cause that's,
While, John, while you're here, if you don't mind, I'll explain the recommendation from the prosecutor's office if that's appropriate.
Yep.
So the way we interpret the statute, to qualify under 602B, you have to meet two elements. One, the property has to be owned by a religious corporation. And two, it has to be used exclusively for the religious purpose of the owner. And when we look at your articles of incorporation, the purpose of the corporation, in your Article 4, purposes and limitations, it says this is a nonprofit corporation, a private foundation, and the Federal Internal Revenue Code, the purpose for which the corporation is to be formed are exclusively, one, to receive and administer funds for scientific, educational, and charitable purposes within the meaning of 501c3. So that in and of itself is why we are recommending denial, because your purpose statement and your articles say that the owner of these 25 parcels is for charitable purposes, not for religious purpose. So I do think that just based on the ownership and the articles of incorporation, the 602C might be a more appropriate application. But then when you look at 602C, it also says you have to use it exclusively for the charitable purpose of the owner. And when you rent it to other organizations, that could result in some apportionment of property taxes. So
okay.
I think Sue's willing to look at an amended application if we receive it before April 15th. And,
Okay.
Absolutely.
and then we would modify our recommendation based on the new application.
I have a question on that. When the articles of incorporation were originally filed, which
Probably pretty old.
1968 is when I think I first saw some that were stamped.
I've got a date stamp here of 2005 was the last, at least the ones that were in your
Okay.
application packet.
Okay. All right. So I guess my original question would have been, when they created the original articles of incorporation, were there other avenues that would have, I guess, spelled out what is needed? I guess what I heard you say was educational, scientific was there in 1968 when they probably were first formed. The religious option there, or was that just a generic?
Yeah, I only looked at this one document, so I don't know what your previous
Yeah.
articles said. And I don't know that would matter, because we would probably use what your articles are that govern the operation as of now.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Right. Makes sense.
Okay, I guess at this time, I'll make the motion that we deny the exemption for the 26 parcels presented as Quaker Hill Conference Incorporated.
a second.
I have a motion and a second to deny this exemption. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Well, then you gotta kind of start over, but you can do it. I know you can.
John, I only got one question for you.
Yeah.
When are we gonna see Pizza Wendy's come?
Yeah, when you're done with this major remodel.
They had some great pizzas on Wednesdays.
Pizza Wednesdays. I thought
Pizza-
you said Pizza Wednesday.
No, Wendy, not Wendy.
That's what I thought he said too. I'm like, what's that?
Pizza I can't say it fast.
Pizza
It was a
Wednesday.
it was a
It was a
fundraiser they
fundraiser.
used, and on Wednesdays, whole community would show up.
It's like, when did I miss Wendy's?
Oh, yeah.
And we're gonna move on down. The next
McCall would let you
applicant
have
is, Oak Creek Baptist Church. Parcel number 18N03E282104. So you've recommended, this is a partial approval?
Yes,
So,
so. their
Mr. Chairman,
ownership is-
hold on one second. We need to find out if any of us have a conflict.
Oh,
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'll be recusing
Oh,
myself
Thank you, Sherry, for reminding me of that.
from this, because I'm a member of Elk Creek Church.
Thank
So-
you very much. So Neil, you'll have to leave the building, go out and sit in your truck.
You do have to leave up here.
I'm eating my peanuts, so you guys go ahead.
So right now, you've recommended 139 days.
So because of everything's in order, but in their application, they designated that they used the facility or did use the facility for 139 days, for a purpose other than for their own use. So we are recommending 226 days, to be exempt and 139 days to be non-exempt.
Mr. Chairman, I will move that with Elk Creek Baptist Church. Yeah, is this an April Fool's joke?
What?
That we exempt 226 days in 2023 and have it taxable for 139 days because of the commercial use.
I'll second that motion. Any more discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, next one up is,
The next one is the.
these are C applications,
63-602C applications. yes.
Cascade Food Pantry.
They have one parcel, everything is in order, and it has been recommended for approval.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we approve the tax exemption for Cascade Food Pantry.
Second.
I'll
Got a
third.
motion and a second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The next application is for the Ionic Lodge, number 82, Masons. Everything was in order, they submitted everything that they were supposed to, ownership is good, and it has been recommended for approval.
Okay, so I'd entertain a motion on this.
I will move that we approve the Iconic Lodge tax exempt status.
Have a second?
Seconded.
Moving and seconded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. The last one on the list is Treasure Valley Transit.
Yep, the last entity has 4 parcels, and all 4 of them met the criteria for tax exempt status. It has been recommended that all 4 of the parcels be approved for exempt status.
It's Treasure Valley Transit, is that correct? I'll make a motion that we approve the Treasure Valley Transit Inc. on 1, 2, 3, 4 parcels.
I'll second.
Moving and second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Okay, that's all I've got, you guys.
Awesome.
Easy peasy. Okay, I wonder, doesn't look like there's any general public out there. Didn't we have somebody, no, that's Health District, never mind.
So Brian, do I just get this resolution, say next commissioners meeting on Doug's?
Yeah, if you want to just get it on the agenda, as an action item, and get a resolution number assigned to it, you're sure good to go.
Where's the resolution number come from? From Doug?
Okay, there being no further business for this board today, this meeting is adjourned.
So, logistically, we have until the 15th to receive applications. That's